First at 10, a St. Gabriel police captain was found stabbed to death inside his home early Sunday morning. News 2's Destiny Beasley reports.
It's not only a dark day at the police department, but a dark day in the whole city of St. Gabriel.
Just off Legion Road, law officers surrounded the home of St. Gabriel Police Captain Devin Booty. He was found stabbed to death inside his home early Sunday morning.
I was notified by the assailant, sent an officer out. I came out and checked myself, and I ended up finding him succumbed to his injuries. I just tell you, it's a gruesome death, and I don't want to go into details. Hopefully, I'll never have to witness something like that again.
Iberville Parish Sheriff's Office arrested 25-year-old Warren Mitchell, and he's facing charges of second-degree murder. Sheriff Brett Stassi told WBRZ that Booty was stabbed during an argument. Chief Kevin Embo said Booty served with the department for 12 years and was a dedicated public servant.
Very, very smart kid, very educated. He left the police department for about a year just to go be a principal. To tell you what type of knowledge he had. But that police bug bit him and he couldn't stay away.
Law officers traveled down Highway 30, transporting Booty's body to a funeral home in Broussard, where he arrived for an autopsy. Mayor Lionel Johnson says Booty was loved by the community and his presence will be missed.
He was everywhere. Everybody knew him. He would stand in for Chief at engagements, programs he put together. So he was just a nice, kind, beloved person that everybody liked.
This marks another difficult loss for the department. In March, Officer Darius Favroth died after suffering from a medical emergency. And now with the death of Booty, Embo says they have to keep their heads held high.
I'll tell them all the time that, you know, it's a dark day, but the sun's gonna rise again. I encourage them that we got better days ahead. It's a part of life.
Although the agency is grieving, Chief Embo says this will not stop them from serving the community.
We're gonna still be here for the people of St. Gabriel. Myself in the mirror, we're gonna sit down and we'll come up with a plan. We're a small community, but when it comes down to working together, me and this guy here, we'll sit down and get it done.
In St. Gabriel, Destiny Beasley, WBRZ News 2.
Mayor Johnson says he will look into having grief counseling for the police department and city workers to ensure their mental health is put first.
And what about the other potential victim? The gentleman who called you guys to tell you that this situation had happened. I don't know. We got one more damn video, and I promise you, man, it better not say some of the stuff I think it's going to say.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. A day after the stabbing death of a St. Gabriel police captain, the investigative unit uncovered a bombshell about what led to the killing.
The Iberville Parish Sheriff's Office confirms Captain Devin Booty and the suspect Warren Mitchell were in a relationship that spun out of control for both of them. Best casualty with what she uncovered.
Michael, Sylvia, this explosive information comes from the sheriff's office, where investigators told me Booty and Mitchell were already on their radar after several tips. On Sunday, news of 34-year-old police captain Devin Booty's potential murder rocked the small community of St. Gabriel.
Devin was in love with the police department and the city of St. Gabriel. He loved this community, and they loved him.
Booty's chief, Kevin Ambo, was the first person to find his body.
Hopefully, I'll never have to witness something like that again.
He tells us it was Booty's boyfriend, Warren Mitchell III, who alerted him.
I was notified by the assailant, sent an officer out. I came out and checked myself, and I ended up finding him succumbed to his injuries.
Mitchell confessed over the phone. The sheriff's office says Booty was ambushed here in his home while he was sleeping. Mitchell allegedly stabbed him twice, once in the front and in the back. And investigators recovered that kitchen knife still inside Booty when they arrived. What they also recovered inside the home that the police captain and Mitchell had been sharing, drugs. According to the sheriff's office, Booty had been providing Mitchell with weed and meth to sell and use.
Seems to be that Booty lost his direction through the relationship with this man. It clouded his judgment.
Sheriff Brett Stassi says he had gotten a tip about this weeks ago.
And that would be our jurisdiction.
And actually asked the Attorney General's office to investigate Booty just 10 days before he was killed.
There's nothing that you can compare this crime to any other that I can remember in recent years.
The suspect, 25-year-old Warren Mitchell III, has a lengthy criminal past.
Drugs, robbery, even some indecent behavior with back when he was a juvenile.
And was even a suspect in a murder in Texas in 2021. In fact, he was out on bond for a robbery he allegedly committed last month when the stabbing happened.
We've talked to the people in the community.
Stassi says that robbery was a key point in the pair's increasingly toxic relationship.
He thought that he was trapped in this relationship and this was the only way out. He had attempted a couple times prior to get out of this relationship, and he couldn't seem to get away.
Meaning what exactly?
A few weeks ago, he did a robbery at a store, knowing that he would be arrested and brought to jail, and that in fact happened. He posted a $27,000 bond, and Captain Booty went to the store and tried to repay the money and asked that they would come forward to drop charge.
Despite the term not being used officially, the situation between Booty and Mitchell has all the red flags of domestic violence.
He used some coercion and to keep pressure on him that I went and paid the money back. I got you out of the middle place. I did this. Just some control tactics that he used to kind of control him.
Despite Stassi wanting them to hold Mitchell without bond, Judge Elizabeth Ingolio set it at $500,000 this afternoon. For the investigative unit, Bess Casserly, WBRZ News 2.
Boy, ain't no way in hell, fam. Ain't no way in hell, family. Let me tell you something, man. I was reading Luke today, and I decided Luke is my favorite gospel. And I was also reminded while I was reading to just slow down when I communicate, man. I don't know when and where I got into this habit of just rushing through like I just got to talk fast or live fast, because if not, I don't know what. So I'm going to attempt to do that in this video, making no promises. I am Trailhand Bill, reporting live from South Florida. The irony of how God weaves things together, or the majestic divinity, the sovereignty of how God weaves things together. Somebody jumped in my comments. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Everybody live life how they choose to. That's between you and God. But your YouTube name is Lady Boy. I'm a Christian, devout. Put two and two together. But shout out to you. You grown, you live your life how you want to. But what they said was, shout out to you, big dog, or young lady. I don't know. How the hell you got a name like that? You think I'm not going to be confused. But they were like, yo, I'm from New Orleans, shout out, whatever, man. And then we get this Louisiana. They had the whole vibe. And then we get this story, and that's where it's out of, right? Now, I gathered this story this morning, and this comment came this evening. So, again, there's God weaving things together. For what reasons, you have to ask him. But I didn't know when I gathered this story that was in Louisiana, New Orleans, whichever one. I had to go and check before I did this story. I do apologize for the video last night, guys. That's another story I may explain in this one, or not at all. But it got deleted. The whole thing was just a big no. All right, let me say this before I forget. Two things. Number one, please go back and reference, which you know, at any point in either of these two videos, the photo that they put up of this gentleman initially versus the photo that they used in the second video where we found out the other things that we found out. I don't like narratives. I don't like agendas. I just like truth, man. There's a reason that y'all use that photo in the first video, but then in the second video, y'all come back and show us a more homely, more presentable photo of this man. It's narratives, family. That go the photo right there. Like, what's up with the narratives? I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching here. Maybe the reasons aren't what I'm speculating, but y'all don't have room for me to give you the benefit of the doubt. That's just the truth. So I'm thinking narrative here. All right. The second thing I want to say is, man, If you don't know this, I'm Trailhand Bill. I'm single as hell. And I've mentioned the voices, the accents in America that I think are like, you know, on this side of the coin. Hey man, Louisiana, I'm straight. I'm heterosexual as hell. If you have never heard Louisiana women talk, man, they by far, probably besides maybe British women, and they right there neck and neck, y'all got the sexiest accents in the world. Now I know we didn't really hear any, we heard the sheriff and the chief and the mayor a little bit, and the sheriff and the chief had the heavy accents. But I've heard Louisiana women talk. And listen, if you're from Louisiana, you're single, and you're Christian, I'm proposing to you right now. Let's get married on some jagged edge shit. I know that had nothing to do with the video. If you watch my channel, you know I'm Trailhand Bill. I'll be off the rails sometime. But let's get to the video, family. First and foremost, there are going to be people who watch this and jump in the comments and say, aha, goody, goody. They don't give no fuck about y'all, fam. Some of them because they themselves, I think, are inhumane. Some of them because this is the hate that the American government / their street minions have earned from the public, man. Y'all do things to us on a regular basis, and therefore when things happen to you guys, people respond with the lack of compassion. In many circles, it's called earning the hate. That's what you guys have done eloquently. You have. You might not want to admit it or own it, but it's the truth. So in the first video, the sheriff tells us, the chief tells us how intelligent this guy is. He's so intelligent, he left to be a principal, but the police bug bit him, so he had to come back. And I'm already knowing that there's a second video while not knowing what it says. Now, I got to speed up a little bit so this video isn't too long, guys, but I'm trying to keep it balanced. And then we get the second video, and then the sheriff start talking, say, nah, bro, we've been watching you, big dog. I'm keeping it real with you. We've been had you under the radar. We got some reports about you. Now I'm wondering if the reports come from the alleged suspect here, the one who was arrested. Because then I hear the sheriff say, well, you know, he was trapped. He was trying to get out of the relationship. He's all like, man, these are grown-ass people. That sounds like some of that feminist-ass narrative y'all use for women when they get in them relationships and they do some crazy shit. And y'all like, well, you trying to shift the blame. If your ass grown, there's a door. Walk out of it. I don't want to hear that bullshit. You grown as hell. You can't have it both ways. And then I understand he's not even talking about the deceased Johnny. He's talking about the individual who's been arrested for a suspect. Now, tell me if I'm wrong. He said the man wanted to get out of the relationship so bad he went and committed a robbery so he'd get locked up. I know I'm not wrong because he later detailed how the deceased Johnny, went and talked to the people he allegedly robbed and say, yo, man, let me pay you back, drop the charges on him. And then he used that to manipulate the alleged suspect in this case and say, not only did I try to handle that for you, I also got you out of this, I got you out of that. And the suspect wanted to leave. Now, I want to refer back to what I said about the excuses we make for women in feminist misandry. If this was a woman, I'm going to tell you a case. Centoya Brown, she's a fucking hero because she murdered a man, even though she did go to prison to serve time for it. And I myself have questions about that. I'm going to leave that alone. But she's a hero now because everybody said, no, she was in an abusive relationship and she protected herself, what's commonly said about women. So I can say if this guy was a woman, he would be heralded right now. This is a damn police officer telling us we were investigating this drug dealing ass police officer who got killed and was manipulating a man who wanted to leave a relationship with him. But we're supposed to believe the chief that he was murdered in his sleep? How do we not know that this man who wanted to leave his relationship so much that he was getting himself arrested, allegedly committing violent crimes, didn't murder this guy protecting himself? You's a police officer, journalist. Y'all get a minus F plus in this video. All the bad letters. Who the hell cares that y'all detailed this man's alleged criminal history? Why didn't you tell us the crimes that he had factually? I don't even want to say actually, I mean factually. I'm using that word instead of actually for a reason. Evidence that cannot be denied, been convicted of. I didn't hear any of that. All right, here we go, another confession. It's the Tito's, man. And the I can't remember what brown liquor, but mixed with the public sweet tea. Maybe it's that. But what I heard was all the things that this gentleman had been accused of, out on bond for. What had he been factually convicted of? While y'all trying to spin a narrative like you did with these photos. His colleague, the lead Johnny, telling us we've been watching this drug dealing ass Johnny. All right, 14 minutes. That's a little bit too long for me in these videos I do. As usual, I think, and I can't even say the police, but I can because I think the chief, but for some reason the sheriff seems to be on an entirely different, air quotes, law-abiding page. You work for gangbangers. But you seem to be telling the truth here. or your version of it, but you're not covering for your partner like these other people. He's so intelligent. He went to be a principal, but he's not intelligent enough to get drawn into drug dealing with Sheriff. That's what you was on some bullshit. You said in this relationship his ass got drawn in it, but later you told us he was the one actually manipulating air quotes, controlling the relationship. So did he get drawn into this criminal activity in a relationship, or was he drawing this, because he's 34 years old according to the news report. The accused is 25. So did he get drawn in, or did he draw this younger gentleman in? You tell us what we supposed to believe is the truth, because all we getting is y'all lying ass version of the story. I think it's always unfortunate when human life is lost senselessly. But I'm an American. I'm not a Johnny, and I do not work for the government. So my job is to present alternative views that paint truth that you guys go out of your way to avoid while you masquerade as heroes. I think it's very possible that this gentleman was just defending himself. If not in this instance, but just in life, because he couldn't get away from this guy who had power and influence on his damn side, no matter how much he tried to, up to the point of literally allegedly committing crimes to get arrested. I think this man may have been defending his life. And I think the judge was right to give him a bond. And I also think, again, if he was a lady, y'all would be heralding him as a hero. Whether he murdered this man now in self-defense, or he murdered it because the overall picture in his mind and heart called for self-defense. He was being stalked by a police officer, according to a sheriff who was investigating this criminal rogue police officer. You tell us about this gentleman's alleged criminal history, but you do not mention the fact that this police officer, who's in my eyes guilty until proven innocent, was forcing him probably to deal drugs and other things. And he worked, signed up to work, left, but came back to work for a gangbanging terrorist organization. Why you didn't tell us that? I think there are some real viable alternative theories about what happened here. And out of respect and consideration for the American public, I think they need to be brought to the forefront. F these journalists, no matter how pretty I wanted to say the one on the screen is right now. I think Americans want to know the truth. And I think we don't want that colored in cop-splaining Johnny BS. I'm Trailhand Bill. It is 9:29 on a very beautiful Tuesday night. Hope life is wonderful for you guys. I'm out. I must say I'm sorry, as I always do. I never co-sign senseless violence. But as I've already detailed in this video, I cannot pretend I don't understand or acknowledge where some Americans come from when they say, hey, it's just another cop. Thank you if you made it this far. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. If you care to go a little further than that, maybe even subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out a few of the other videos on the channel. Either way, y'all be safe.